Alex was Amy when she was in high school. I probably will say some really stupid shit today.
Kind of started feeling different when I was about 5.
Oh my gosh. I love that you
funny.
just shared that.
I always wanted to be a boy. I'm like, I want to start transitioning.
What Jess is like saying is Alex going to have a penis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most important factor to a healthy well-being is feeling connected.
Welcome to From There to Here,
A safe place where we will explore some of life's adventures so that you do not feel alone. We are so excited to have you with us today. Shannon and I have a really special guest for you. We're not introducing yet because we always do our Heartlands first.
Such a teaser.
I know. I remember learning about teasers back when
Oh, yeah.
we had that interview with Fish.
Episode 38.
Yeah, he taught us about that.
Teasers.
So, ooh, I bet you guys can't wait to hear what
Pins
we're
and
going to
needles.
talk about. Shannon, what's in your Heartlands?
The boys just had their fall parent-teacher conference, and it went so good. I think I talked about their spring one.
I think you did.
No, they had their... Wait, it's spring now.
I was like, I don't think
now.
it's fall, but
Okay,
we'll just
we had their
roll
spring
with it.
conference. Their fall conference, I think I talked about how well it went, and it just keeps going really good. We're doing good. Yeah. They're not beating anybody up, or that's like literally what was happening last year. So. They kind of sort of
Their
gang up.
brains are
and
developing.
maybe.
Like,
no, I mean,
that
like
is.
Riggs is just taking off.
Yeah.
It's funny to like compare the two. Not
How dare
I
you.
know, not in a bad way, but just
Yeah.
like Hawk has definitely got Ben's brain.
Okay.
And Riggs definitely has my brain. Whereas like,
So he's taking off.
yes, it's like school is very easy for him.
Okay.
He knows all his letters and letter sounds. Where
Yes.
Hawk's like, I don't care. Let me build over here. Like, definitely different. But they had a good conference, so that makes me feel good as a mom. Yeah, Brielle's conferences are always good, so we never have to worry about that. But yeah, what's in your Heartland?
Mine is like your ability to see something new in something that you do every day. So this kind of came up at yoga today, and I always think about it like when you're on vacation, and I love just thinking about vacation.
I was just gonna say like your Heartlands is very deep. I know.
Well, yours is, yeah. But okay, so you're on vacation, and like I know
Where
like,
are we?
When we're on an RV vacation,
Okay,
I'm
RV
like
vacation.
looking out the window the whole time, like grass, mountain goat, like right, like everything is so amazing because you've never seen it before, and you're like, oh, what's around the next corner? Like a waterfall, right? And it's so exciting. But like at home, oftentimes we don't choose to look at our world around us like that. But really, it is a choice. You can find the new, the novel, and the beauty in little drives that you do every single day.
Okay, so I do remember one episode where I was like, "There's a squirrel out there, Jess," and you're like, "A squirrel, Shannon." So okay, take your own advice over there.
Okay, true. I will. I can't always. I
Seriously.
can't remember this deep stuff all day, every day, right? But today it was hitting me.
Okay.
So it's like, oh, like, wow, the sun shining on that dead tree in our woods that needs to come get taken down. Anyway, looks so pretty, right? Or like the bark that's falling off of it. Like that's so interesting looking. Like there's always something new to notice. And I guess this is a Heartlands, but it's also an offering to our listeners to just take the time and choose to do that.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay, our guest today is Alex. Alex, what's in your Heartlands?
I'd have to say probably family today.
Yeah.
So tomorrow we are celebrating 3 birthdays in one.
Oh my goodness.
So my daughter, my nephew, and my mom.
Oh wow.
So it's going to be a little interesting.
Yeah. What are you guys doing?
We're just going down to do bowling and
fun.
have a little party or whatever. But
What time? Maybe I'll crash it. No.
1:30. You're more than welcome to come.
That's like generational. Like your daughter's younger than your nephew's like high school.
Yep.
And then your mom.
Yep.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, 5, 16, and oh God, how old is she? 68.
Does she want us to say that?
60. You're 68.
Well, happy birthday to all the
Yeah.
people you love.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Are they all on the same day, or is just all around each other?
Funny story is, so my nephew was born on February 4th, and I had to have a cesarean. So it was like around the same time, and he comes and he's like, Auntie, can you please not have your baby on the 4th? Because if I have to share my toys, I'm not sharing my birthday.
No control over that.
You're right. Well, so you
I planted. The nurse called. Okay. She's like, so when do you want to do this? I said, any day but the 4th. I'm not getting in trouble. So she's on the 3rd. He's on the 4th. And then mom's on the 24th.
Okay. So. Well, we should come then because Brielle's on the 4th.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. Well, Jude has also a February birthday, so...
Okay, we're all going bowling.
There you go.
That's fun.
Yes.
Listeners, if you want to share your heart lens with us...
Don't.
No. We don't want you to.
But really, we aren't collecting anymore right now, right? Because
That's true, but if you really have something great going on in your life, I would love to hear about it. Like the squirrel that's outside. Yes. Jess doesn't want to hear about it, I guess.
But if you want to go back to more episodes, obviously you can do that on your podcast platforms. But we still have our website, podcast from there to here.
.net. Yes.
It was like sort of a test when I looked at you, but also I was having a brain fart, to be totally honest.
That happens. Okay. Like we said, we have a special guest with us today, Alex. And I just want to share a little bit about the dynamic. So Alex's brother and I graduated high school together. Alex, were you 2 years or 1 year? 1 year younger. Alex and I never hung out in high school. I was too busy with my boyfriend, and
you were too busy with all the cool kids.
Oh, it was that.
Yeah,
I was too busy with like barn parties and skipping school to smoke pot to care.
God. That just seriously cracks me up that you did that because
I remember one time my brother had a party at the house. And I came home, and I swear to God, there was about 100 people.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, one of them?
Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, Jason, your ass going to be in trouble.
Well, we put holes in the walls.
So now, though.
Oh, yeah. Like, I got all that out in high school. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So Alex was Amy when she was in high school. And that's what we're here to talk about is the transition from Amy to Alex. And Alex is going to share his brave story with us. I just want to say thank you for being here. I will tell you personally, I probably will say some really stupid shit today. And that's all right. And I think it's because I'm still learning. Right. But there was a post on Facebook that really had gotten me at one point. This was years ago. And it just was a lot of shaming. And to me, the shaming came from not understanding. Mm-hmm, and so I want to say the stupid shit because I want our listeners to learn. Right. As I'm learning. Yeah. So thank you so much for being willing to share.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Before we jump in to Alex's story, Jess is going to share some terminology for our listeners so that they can learn maybe about some of what some of the words we might say today mean.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, as I was researching this, I was learning too. So we're all going to be learning at this table today, and our listeners hopefully as well. But the first time that I had learned anything about this type of information was during a professional development. There was a gender unicorn shared, and this was created by Landon Pan and Anna Moore, and it's available through the Trans Student Educational Resources website. So these are definitions from this visual aid, and you can get more information on the website. But there are a few different things within this gender unicorn. And like I said, it's a really great visual. We'll be sharing that on our social media. But here's some of the definitions of the terminology. So there's gender identity, which is in your brain. It's your internal sense. So male or female, boy or girl. And for transgender people, oftentimes their sex assigned at birth and their own internal sense of gender identity are not the same. So that's one piece of it. Another piece is gender expression. That is your outward appearance. It's your physical manifestation of one's gender through clothing, hairstyle, voice, body shape. So basically how you look, right? It's feminine, it's masculine. Then there's your sex assigned at birth. And within the gender unicorn, it's pictured in the genital area. However, this is your anatomy, your hormones, your chromosomes, and it's male or female or intersex. Oftentimes, sometimes, chromosomes don't always match your determined genitalia, sex, or gender. So that's just like a side note there. And then there's also who you're physically attracted to, which is your sexual orientation, which is visually on the unicorn within the heart. And then there's your emotional attraction. So romantic emotional orientation also lives within your heart. That's the gender unicorn. I'm here to say that I think it is missing one piece. That is the spiritual aspect. I believe that we all carry a divine feminine and a divine masculine energy within all of us. And the aspects of that energy and consciousness is not shown on the unicorn. So anyway, those are the definitions to go over. It's basically gender identity, gender expression, your sex assigned at birth, and then the physical and emotional attraction.
Let's start.
All right.
Alex, I was hoping you could just tell us about your childhood. How was it growing up?
Well, honestly, I kind of started feeling different when I was about 5.
Okay.
I wanted to be like the boys. I wanted to have my shirt off. I wanted, and it was not, it wasn't acceptable.
Sure, girls don't take their shirts off in the summertime.
Right.
Yeah.
And run around and do boy stuff.
Yeah.
So, but my childhood was fairly okay. My mom wasn't around a lot when we were growing up. She was always working, and we were stuck with my stepdad, who was mentally and physically abusive. So that kind of, leans you away from, wanting to have anything to do with men. Because you're like, are they all like that?
Yeah.
And I got picked on a lot during school. I was like basically the butt of every joke. And
why do you think that was?
Because I was heavier set.
Okay.
And I didn't quite fit in to any of the little cliques that were that there were.
Okay. That breaks my heart.
Yeah, it started in 3rd grade, and I would come home every day crying.
Oh my gosh.
Every single day, and I would beg my mom to get me out of that school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And finally, I was able to get out and go back to the forest.
Okay.
So my teenage years, I still never felt like I fit in anywhere. Like even in high school too, like I was always labeled as one of the bad kids because, I didn't fit into like the sporting area, and I didn't fit into like, the girly girl area.
Sure.
So I was just kind of a misfit, I felt like.
And you could feel that. Even sounds like started at 5 years old.
Yeah.
And didn't really leave. That feeling didn't ever leave.
It never went away.
Yeah.
And I did in high school, I did the whole girly girl thing. I, dressed up as a girl, did my makeup, had long hair. And I felt like it would make my skin crawl when I was like that. But I felt like I needed to be that way in order to somehow fit in.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want to get picked on anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. When was that? Like high school?
Yeah.
You were doing that? Okay.
Middle school, high school area.
Okay.
Pretty much when we came to Wanakee.
Yeah.
So then after high school, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not doing this anymore.
Did you go to college?
I did.
Okay.
Yep. So that's pretty much when I started coming out and going back to, how I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Dress more masculine, have short hair, quit wearing makeup,
Played football.
Played football for 8 years. And
did you feel better about yourself?
I did.
At that point?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And then finally coming out, to family and friends and everything, that was a huge weight lifted because I always knew.
When coming out meaning like that you're a lesbian.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
So, I always knew since I was a kid that I always was attracted to women.
Okay.
I'd see, a woman or something and I'd be like, oh, she's really pretty. Or, I even had a crush on our vice principal. I would intentionally get in trouble just to go to her office.
No, so as an educator, when there's behaviors, I'm always asking the why. Don't know that I would ever come up with that why. But
that was the why.
Oh my gosh, I love that you just shared that.
So I mean,
Yeah.
but yeah, I after high school, I went back to the way that I felt, and it was uplifting and took a weight off my shoulder, and I was just kind of got the attitude of I don't care. Mm-hmm. This is who I am. You don't like it, then there's the door.
by me. Yeah.
Like I live this long without you, I can live
For
a hell of
sure.
a lot longer without you.
When you came out as a lesbian, how did your family accept that?
I was actually outed.
Oh,
by my friend.
Okay.
Yeah, we were out at the bar one night, and she's like, "Well, Amy, you know you're a lesbian." And my mom was sitting right there, and my mouth dropped, my eyes got real wide, and I was like, "Mom, are you mad?" She's like, "No." She's like, "I already knew."
Okay.
She's like, "I already knew. I was just waiting for you to tell me."
Okay.
I'm like, "Oh, so you could have like just totally break the ice for me." Because you say you already know. Yes. And then here I am like, God, am I going to be in trouble? Like,
yeah.
But no, they were very accepting.
Okay.
Everybody was. I mean, my brother had an issue, over there for a while, but that's just his mentality and the way he thinks. He's completely opposite of everybody else.
Okay. Needed some time to process.
Yeah. So, but I mean, my family's always been very welcoming of it and welcoming of my partners, and which I'm very fortunate for, because not a lot of families are like that. So, but yeah, I'm fortunate in that aspect.
Your stepdad's not around anymore, though.
No.
Okay.
No, thank God.
Yeah, okay. So it sounds like you weren't feeling very comfortable in your body.
Right.
But didn't really understand, like, the gender identity wasn't, like, matching the assigned sex at birth.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Were you feeling that at a young age? Like, this is just not matching.
Yeah, I always wanted to be a boy.
Yeah.
Like I said, I always wanted to be a boy. I always wanted to run around with my shirt off and whatnot, and always wanted to do all the boy stuff. Like even in middle school, I played football. I was the only girl on the football team, but I didn't want to feel like I was a girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you would have been offered an option at a young age to do something about that, would you have wanted to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember in grade school, I used to go to like these, little groups or whatever, talk about, your feelings or whatever.
Sure.
That actually got brought up once.
Wow. I mean,
yeah.
We're similar ages here. And I feel like 20 some years ago, this wasn't in schools.
Right. And she had flat out asked me, she's like, "So if you could be a boy, would you?" And I said, "Yeah."
Yeah.
So, I mean, everything I wanted to do was nothing. I didn't want to play with Barbies. I didn't want to, like I said, do my makeup. I didn't want to do all the girl things. I wanted to be outside, get dirty.
Yeah.
Get in trouble. And, just.
Do you feel like your mental health was impacted?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
I always knew that there was something that wasn't right within me. Mm-hmm. And it really took a toll on my mental health. I couldn't understand why I was always angry. I was always lashing out. Then there'd be days where I would just like lay in bed, not want to get up, like not want to do anything. And there have been times where my mom's like, "You got to get out of this house." She's like, "You got to do something." And I'm like, I don't have any ambition to do a damn thing.
Yeah.
So I got put on all this different medication.
I was wondering, yeah.
I mean, I got put on for depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, like all these different. I mean, I basically had to take a pharmacy in order to feel like I was semi-normal.
And really, none of those things were going to help.
Right. And my mom's always like, she's like, "Well, what can we do? Like, what's going to make you feel better?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
I'm like, "I really don't know." And she's like, "Well, what's bothering you and what this and that?" And I'm like, "Mom, I can't tell you. I don't know. I don't know why I am constantly pissed off. I don't know why I'm, always negative about everything. I'm like, I'm just miserable." And
Did you ever see a therapist at that time?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, I still see one now.
Okay.
Thank God, because there's a lot of things that I need to get out.
Yeah.
And it's very uplifting after you have a session. Especially with somebody that. My therapist is a lesbian, and she kind of knows what all this is. And so that's even helpful too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's always helpful to be able to talk to someone that can relate to how you're feeling and actually understand, right?
Right.
Yeah, we say that often in this podcast, actually.
Yeah. So during this time, did it ever occur to you, like, I just am not in the correct body right now?
Yeah. I actually, it was last year, like around this time, I had gotten to the point where I just had enough. Like I didn't like myself. I didn't like the direction I was going in. It was affecting my work. It was affecting my home life. It was affecting my relationship with my daughter and my family. And I decided to take a couple months off of work. Mm-hmm. I said, I need to get my shit together. I need to focus on, what's making me feel so shitty all the time.
So you're still feeling shitty this whole time. Mm-hmm. Like, still taking the depression medication, still not able, like, really wanting to function in life. And
Right. So I took a couple months off, and I don't know, it was like an epiphany. Like, you need to do this.
How did it come to you?
It just, I got connected to my feelings more and, processed everything. And it came to me. It's like, Amy, I call myself Amy at sometimes.
That's okay, because I call you Amy sometimes too.
I was wondering, like, oh man, like he, she, Amy, Alex, like I don't want to say the wrong thing.
But see, that's the thing. Is like I know people are going to make mistakes. It's a learning process. It's something brand new that took me 40 years to figure it out. You know, I'm not going to say, oh, you just called me a she. It's going to happen, and I'm not going to take offense to it because. Whatever.
Well, thank you for that. I'm certainly not sitting here wanting to make anybody feel bad. And I feel like a lot of our listeners probably have the same feeling. Like, I just don't know what to say because I don't want to mess up. So I wonder if that is a common feeling around people who are
I think so. Like even at work, sometimes they'll say, she, or then they'll look at me and I'm like, dude, it's okay. Like, it's fine. Like, you'll figure it out. Like, I'm not going to be pissed about it.
Yeah. Okay, so you're kind of taking this 2 months off, having the epiphany, looking into your emotions.
Right.
What did you say to yourself?
I basically told myself, I was more worried about everybody else.
Yeah.
What are they going to think of me?
Are they
going to think I'm a freak? Are they going to think I'm, just like out of my mind, whatever. And so I sat on that for a long time. Yeah. Wondering what people were going to think. And like, I just got to the point too, again, where I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care what people think,
because right now I'm not happy.
Right. So, and I have to figure out what's making me unhappy. Yeah. And that's basically the decision that I came to. And I went to my doctor and I'm like, look, I want to start transitioning. And she's like, she sits back in her chair and she's like, well, that explains a lot. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? She's like, all of your emotions, all of your feelings. She's like, this is why you feel so shitty.
Yeah. Was it a relief to hear that from your doctor?
Yeah, because I was terrified to go in there and be like, hey, I want to be a dude.
Yeah.
Who's the first person you told?
My ex-wife.
Okay.
And what did she say?
She's all for it.
Yeah.
So
was she also like, oh, yes, this makes sense?
Yep, she did too. She's like, okay. She's like, now it makes sense. She's like, now I know why you were the way you were in our marriage. Because I basically destroyed our marriage because I was so unhappy and, hated everything and nothing was right.
Yeah. So
that ruined our marriage. But there was one night I was out drinking. And I called her up in the middle of the night and I was just bawling. I'm like, I'm not happy. Like, I just know why. Like, I want to be a boy. And she's like, well, then do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she's like, explains a lot why you are the way you are.
Yeah.
So,
and then how did your family take that news?
It was a little hard on my mom.
I'm assuming like, coming out as a lesbian was a little bit tricky, but then as transgender, that is a whole new level of tricky, I think. For a parent to maybe handle.
I told her and she's like, I don't understand why. She's like, I just don't understand why. And I'm like, Mom, you don't need to understand why. I'm like, this is just the way that I feel. It's what's going to make me happy.
That's a really great response to that question.
And I looked at her, I said, Mom, I said, would you rather have a daughter who's miserable, or would you rather have a son who's happy?
Mm-hmm. That gave me goosebumps.
What did she say?
And she's like, you're right. Yeah. She's like, you're right. But the first thing she said to me, because she's like all freaked out about it, she's like, are you going to start dating boys now? Oh. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not turning into a gay man. But
it is like we were having to go through the labels and stuff. Like it can be confusing, and people do have questions. And
I mean, she was serious about it. I just kind of laughed. I'm like, no, Mom, no.
Right. No. But does that mean you're straight then?
Technically.
Yeah.
Technically,
yes. Yeah. And always have been, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Take us through like the transition process. Like, where are you with that, and what are you doing or deciding to do? Or
right now I am taking HRT, which is hormone therapy.
Yep.
I've been on that since October.
So that increases your testosterone.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So I got to take it once a week.
Okay. Is it a pill or a shot?
It's a shot.
Yeah. Are there any other like side effects that make you feel? Shannon and I can only relate to hormones from trying to get pregnant, which didn't happen for either of us when we did that. But
it took me a while too.
To get pregnant.
Yeah. But I did IUI, so
okay, that's a whole nother conversation I want to have with you.
But are there side effects to taking the hormones that make you feel icky? Or
I haven't had any yet.
Okay,
so which. I mean, I'm thankful for it because I don't want to have to go every week, having a side effect or feeling sick.
Yeah.
But no, I've been pretty good with it.
What do those hormones help with? Like decrease the estrogen?
No, it just raises your testosterone levels. So you have more testosterone than you do estrogen.
So this is going to be one of my stupid questions then. Do you still get your period?
Nope.
Oh. That must be a relief just because just because I imagine every month you get this and you're like, this is not supposed to be happening. This is not.
That was the first thing that left, and I was like, thank God.
Yes. One step closer to feeling like your true self.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I just had my consult not that long ago to have my chest removed.
Okay.
And that's a whole process in itself. You have to get like a letter of readiness from your therapist, and you have to go so many months on HRT, and you have to identify for so long before they'll even look at you. Yeah.
Is that covered by insurance?
It is.
Just going to ask that.
It is, because
insurance companies are coming around then, because I imagine this was not covered 20 years ago.
Right. So there's a thing called gender dysphoria, which is more like a mental type illness, but they consider it somewhat of an illness because you're not.
This is not an illness though, but that's how insurance looks at it.
Right. Yeah. So because they've made that definition of gender dysphoria, they cover it because it's considered a medical thing. Yeah.
Okay. So you've been doing the hormones since October. Yep. How long do you have to do that before?
Probably forever.
No, I mean before they're going to consider doing surgery.
12 months.
Okay. So you still have some time to go.
And that's the only hormone you have to take. Right. Just one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And then surgery to remove your breasts.
Yep.
And then are you going to go any further than that?
I haven't quite decided yet because that is a whole big process in itself. Yeah. It's like 3 surgeries in order to complete.
But it's possible?
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay.
What Jess is like saying is Alex going to have a penis?
Yeah.
Let's just say the word.
Phalloplasty.
Okay.
I just had to know.
Yeah, that's a big long process. Like I said, it's 3 surgeries just to complete. So it's like I don't know if I want to put myself through that.
Do you get to like decide the size if you do it?
Well, it depends on which one you get.
Okay.
There are types.
There's two different types. Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm really curious. Can you just go more into depth about that because this is new?
So when you take HRT, your clitoris grows.
Oh.
So that's basically
the
female. It's like the female penis.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're inside, they're outside.
Yep.
So it grows. So what they can do is, once it gets to pretty much its full size, they can stretch it.
Oh.
So you'll have more feeling and whatever because it's, it's still part of your body. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, you'll probably have like a 2-inch penis. Okay.
It's like, what's the point of that?
Right? Like,
yeah.
What is that all about?
And could it get a boner?
We're very immature right now because I don't know how
that. I would assume so.
Okay.
But and then there's the other one where they actually take skin grafts off your forearm. It's either your forearm or your thighs, and they create a penis out of it.
And that you could decide, like, I want it 10 inches long.
Well, I mean, they can make it average. I mean, they can't really go any bigger than the size of your forearm.
Sure.
Or, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at my forearm.
Well, yeah. I mean, you'd have, like, a huge one.
Do you really want that?
So, but, no, they construct a penis out of it.
Okay.
And they attach it to your first surgery. Mm-hmm. At your second surgery, they reroute your urethra.
Oh.
And then your third surgery, they do it's like a pump.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So your nut sack.
Yeah.
Oh.
One side, they'll put like a fake ball in it or whatever, and the other side they'll put in a pump. So if you wanted to get erect, you just basically pump your balls
Interesting.
and you can get erect. And everybody's like, well, can you feel it? And it's like, well, yeah, you can have feeling.
It's your skin.
Right, and it's just, but you don't have any nerve endings.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But, I mean, you can still feel something.
Right.
Sure.
Okay.
So, but yeah, that's the
Well, thank you for that. I did not know any of that. Okay.
I'm sure most people don't.
No.
Right.
Right? Because people don't talk about this.
Right, and it's just, that's just weird. Like,
right.
People are like, that's just weird. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I don't know if I'll go that far or not yet. Okay. I haven't decided.
Okay. Yeah. Anything that's been, like, super difficult, challenging, scary through the transitioning process?
I think the most scary thing is when I came out at work.
Oh.
Okay.
So you work in a primarily male
dominant
industry.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
How did that go over?
So I told my boss, and my boss is female. She just kind of looks at me. She's like, oh. She's like, okay. And I'm like, well, I don't know how to go about telling everybody. I'm like, I don't want it.
Do you feel like you have to tell everybody?
Well, when I come in and I have facial hair and like I'm binded and my voice is deeper.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, what the fuck is going on?
Okay.
So we went ahead and we made a plan that we were going to bring like 20 people in at a time. Mm-hmm. And we were going to tell them because I'm like, I want to be respectful of them. Mm-hmm. And I want them to know firsthand coming from my mouth instead of the rumor mill.
Yes.
Yeah.
So smart.
So we did a week's worth. Every morning we'd have about 20 people in there, and I would, come out to all of them and tell them what's going on and what would happen. And surprisingly, a lot of them were very accepting of it.
How many females besides your boss do you work with?
There is 4 of us out of like 80 some.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but most people were extremely accepting of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Which, like I said, was very surprising because, I mean, they have the mentality of a high school. I mean, they do. Like, they're, they're immature. And so a lot of them will make comments or whatever. And so it doesn't bother me. Like, I know you guys are, just joking around. Like,
sure.
I mean, I do it right back to them. So
okay.
It's not, the other day, they're like, oh, you got a nice Mexican mustache. And I'm like, what is that? They're like, it's a little dark, but not really. Like, I'm like, thanks.
Mexican mustache.
Yeah. I'm like, thanks, guys.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
How has that affected your mental health at this point now that you're, like, do you feel lighter or freer?
Oh, yeah, I do. I feel like, I always felt like I said I had a weight on my shoulders, like just dragging me down. And once I came out and started, feeling more of myself, it was just like everything just kind of went away.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I can stand taller. I feel like I have more confidence. I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like I'm not angry anymore. I was like, you're different. You're completely different. And I said, I know. I said, And she's like,
hallelujah.
Yeah, she's like, I kind of like it.
Oh. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like I've done a 180.
Yeah.
So
are you still on all your depression medications?
I am, but we're starting to wean off
Okay.
because they feel like my doctor feels like I don't need them.
Okay.
She's like, because you figured out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You figured out why.
Yeah.
So we're starting to slowly come off of those. So
yeah.
Which is, that's a huge relief too, because I always felt like I said, I was a walking, talking pharmacy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I have to have all this just to be normal.
What? Yeah. And she's saying that in quotes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's saying that in quotes.
I'm like getting ahead of myself, but I can't stop myself from asking this question. If you could have done this earlier, you said you would have.
Mm-hmm.
Like at what age is it appropriate to start this? Some people have such an issue with starting like hormone therapy, right? With like quote unquote children, anyone under 18, right?
Right.
Like, what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are, you know, I agree with the whole children thing.
Okay.
But once you come into your teenage years, you become more independent. You become more, you know, open with your thoughts and your feelings. Like you can understand them better than being, you know, grade school age or middle school.
Sure.
So, I mean, if somebody wants to transition in their teenage years, I'm all for it. But, you know, being a child, they're not really connected, and they're not really like knowing why they feel the way that they feel.
Sure.
So if your 4-year-old came to you right now,
I'd be like, hell no.
Okay. Yeah.
Not until you can completely understand and you know your thoughts and your feeling process and everything else. Yeah, I wouldn't allow it.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How has any of this transitioning affected her?
Oh, my daughter?
Yeah.
And how old is she?
She just turned 5.
Okay.
It hasn't really.
Well, and I feel like they're so open at this age still.
Right.
There's not society putting ideas in their heads yet.
Right. And
does she still call you mom?
She does.
Okay.
But my ex-wife and my ex-wife's been amazing, to be honest with you. So we tried to get Lena to start using different terminology. So she's mom.
Yep.
And I'm daddy mommy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she gets used to the word daddy.
Okay. Yep.
And then we can, you know, at some point take off the mommy.
Okay.
Part. So yeah, I'm
you
daddy
are just
mommy.
So thoughtful about every step of this. I really admire that.
I want to be respectful to everybody. I just don't want to come out and be like, oh, this is the way it is. You know? Like,
but you could because it's your body.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I mean, I very well could, but I mean, the people around me are very important to me.
Yeah.
You know, especially family. Not really sure how my brother's going to take it.
Okay.
I mean, he's not taking it very well, but tomorrow will be the first time he's seen me with hair on my face.
Okay.
Okay.
So that'll be a little.
Are you nervous?
Let me know if I need to punch him.
I'm not really nervous because I've gotten to the point with him where I just don't care what he thinks anymore.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you're still my brother, but I really don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
you feel good in your own body now.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm happy. Like, I mean, I'm not completely comfortable in my body yet because it's still, I think once I have my chest removed, I'll have a little bit more confidence and be more, feel better about my body.
Yeah.
But right now it's just kind of like, ugh. So
every time you like are naked, look in the mirror.
Oh God, I don't even have mirrors.
Okay.
Just because I don't like to look at it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to get super personal right now.
Okay.
So if this is, we tell all of our guests, if there's anything that you don't want to talk about, you just tell us and we don't talk about it. Was it uncomfortable being pregnant then? Because as of right now in our world, that is only a female thing that can be pregnant.
Right.
And if having a woman's body is super uncomfortable to you, was that a little bit uncomfortable?
It was.
Okay.
I always said to myself that I'd never have children just because I never wanted to be pregnant. Sure.
And like for a really long time, you just felt male.
Right. So it was awkward, but I always knew though too, my ex-wife couldn't have children anymore. So if we wanted to have a family, I had to do it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
and you did IUI to get pregnant.
Yep, I did. We did IUI. We picked out a donor and for some reason, she turned out to look just like me and nothing like the donor. Which I'm thankful for.
Okay.
But yeah, it was very uncomfortable. And the only thing that I remember when I was pregnant is the way that she felt when she was moving.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you kind of feel a little bit more connected because, you're like, there's something in there.
Yeah.
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 Like,
Did you like it?
I did.
Okay.
I did like that feeling.
Okay.
But being pregnant was miserable.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree, and I am not transgendered, and it was miserable for me, so I cannot imagine.
But I have to say, I had a very easy pregnancy.
Okay.
Like, I never got sick. Nothing besides having to have a cesarean.
Yeah. The universe knew what to do for you there.
Well, realized that she came out stubborn because she didn't want to turn around. So I was like, that I knew right there, oh boy, I'm going to be in trouble.
She's going to be like me.
Yep, and she is.
So now transitioning, is that a piece of you that you have any emotional connection to in terms of being able to carry a baby, or you did carry a baby?
That what? I'm sorry.
Do you have any emotional connection to, like, if you're a male, you don't carry a baby?
Right.
So are you okay with that? Like, emotionally, this is where your daughter lived for 9 months.
Even though I'm transitioning, I mean, everybody's going to know she came from me.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to hide that. I'm not going to be like, well, where'd she come from? Well, I don't know. The stork dropped her off at my doorstep.
Right.
But I mean, I'm not gonna like shame myself for it, or I'm not gonna deny it. I mean,
it's
what I did.
Journey.
Yes.
Like
the journey to to get to here.
I mean, even so, like, if I wanted to have a family and I'd already transitioned, well, yeah, I'll make a pregnant male. If that's what I want to.
Could you?
Well,
yeah,
if
you can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because she still has a uterus. Like,
I know, but I didn't know if the testosterone would impact any of that.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
That aspect I really don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a lot of female to males that have gotten pregnant to have a family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I would do it too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not anymore. I'm a little too old for that now.
Yeah.
You are not.
Yeah, because like everybody that I've like grown up with have kids that are teenagers or in their 20s, and here I am, a little 5-year-old. Like,
hey,
I'm still over here. Yeah, we're definitely getting you on that. Yes.
It's like, what did I do?
Yeah.
No, but I wouldn't trade her for anything in the world.
Right.
Yeah. And that was a piece of your journey, like Jess said, to get to feeling like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Who's been your biggest support during your transition?
My ex-wife.
Oh, that is beautiful.
Yep. She has been, anytime that I've needed something or felt something, she'd be like, I'm right here with you, like, whatever you need.
Sounds like you guys have an amazing relationship.
We
now.
do.
Lucky daughter.
Yeah. And we, when we have our issues, we try to keep that separate from our relationship with Lena.
Yeah.
I mean, we still go out to dinner together. We still go do things together with her. But if we have issues, we don't bring that into it.
Yeah.
I mean, we could be at each other's throats, and guess what? We have to play nice because we're with Lena.
I mean, I do that with my husband sometimes too when Jude's around. So it sounds totally kind of normal, right?
But no, she has been my biggest supporter. When I first came out, she has, well, it's kind of mutual friends, but they're both transgender.
Okay.
And they're married.
Okay.
So one went from male to female and the other went from female to male. And they're married. So she called them up and they're like, this is what's happening. And she even said, she's like, okay. She's like, no, a lot of it makes sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
And they came over to the house.
Mm-hmm.
We had dinner, and any questions that I had, they were like, "We're here to help you."
That's amazing that you have people that you can count on like that.
Right. So
I imagine not everybody does. So
no, and I'm fortunate to have that, and I appreciate everything that they've been doing for me. Even my ex-wife, like. I always tell them, like, thank you you for understanding. And she's like, I will always love you, and no matter what you look like, and she's like, even when you have surgery, she's like, I will come and I will take care of you. And I'm like, well, thanks.
Yes. Feels good to be
amazing.
loved.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're better off as friends than we were together.
Yeah.
So
if you or when you or do you date anybody now that you're feeling like I have to tell them? Like this is always the part where I'm like, that's not fair.
Question.
Right. Well, my dating world is on hiatus.
Okay.
I actually really don't even have like the ambition or anything to even date currently. So
well, you're focusing on yourself right now. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, even so, I'm like, I don't know if I really want to bring somebody else into my life. Like
For now.
Well, I don't even
Ever.
know if I want to ever. Like,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, obviously, I'd have to tell them. You know, be like,
Yeah.
look like a dude, but guess what? I don't have one of those.
Yeah.
Mine's not real.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, yeah, if I do date somebody,
That just feels unfair to me. That, like, and at what part in your relationship?
Right.
oh, I'd be honest straight
Okay.
from the get go
Yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what, I'm not gonna have basically a fake relationship with somebody.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know? And then they get weirded out, and you know, you've already invested
Sure.
time and feelings into it. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'll come out and say it, be like, you know what, I'm not what you think I am, and I'll be like, I'm trans. Like, I don't. And if that bothers you, then that's fine.
Right. Okay. How do you express your gender identity now? I know yours like labels are kind of like
I don't label. I hate labels.
okay.
Because we're all human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
We feel the same
we're all cut from the same cloth. You know?
Yes.
So I don't like labels.
Yeah.
I don't label myself as a lesbian. I don't label
Okay.
myself as trans or a boy or a girl or
Okay.
whatever. I'm just me.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we're talking and need to use a pronoun, like you just kind of don't care what comes out.
Right, because my transition is so new
Okay.
that I don't really care. Like, I'm not going to take offense to it. Or,
Yeah. You
know.
said that earlier.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I mean, it's right now it's not a big deal.
Sure.
But if everything was rainbows and unicorns and everything was perfect,
Right. Boy, then I'd go by he, him.
Okay.
Okay.
But like
Yeah.
right now, I've shied more towards like they, them,
Okay.
just because it's so new, and like I said, people have to adjust.
Sure.
So
How did you come up with Alex? We went from Amy to Alex. So how did you decide on Alex?
well, I wanted to keep my initials.
Okay.
So I was in the pool one day with a friend, and you know, I told her that I was going to transition or whatever, and she's like, "Oh, what are we going to name you?" And I'm like, "I don't know." So we're like sitting there throwing names back and forth at each other, and then she's like, "Well, what about this one?" And I'm like, "Okay,
That's a good one.
Your friend named you.
yeah, pretty much, yeah."
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't a really deep story.
No, but it's just like, well,
Yeah.
I like that one. It was like took a vote. And,
It won.
yep.
Yeah.
So did a lot of drinks that day.
I love it.
Oh. What misconceptions do you think people have about transgendered individuals?
I think people like look at trans people as being like weird or freaks, or you know, just like not normal. But then again, I hate that word.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I
There's
hate
not.
that
There's
word.
not, yeah. There's not a such thing as normal.
No, there
No.
isn't. And I think society has made certain things what normal is.
Right.
100%.
So, you know, we're not normal people. We're, you know, belong in the circus or, you know, something
sure.
stupid like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that scares me, you know, kind of the public seeing me like
Okay.
that.
Sure.
Because, you know, I don't want to be considered, you know,
No.
a freak or a weirdo
No.
or...
No, nobody
But
does.
it's because nobody understands.
exactly.
Yes, that's what I was just going to say.
Exactly.
So much just comes from ignorance.
Well, not only that, they don't go through it themselves, so they
And
don't really...
Sure. Yeah.
You know, like same thing with mental health. You know, it took my mom a long time or my family a long time to figure out, well, why are you depressed? Like
Yeah.
you have everything. Like you have
Oh,
a great
yeah.
life.
I
You
went
have this.
through that
You have
too.
that. And
Yeah.
it's like it's a sickness.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
It's not about all the stuff. It's
Right.
about the chemicals in your brain.
right. And
Yep.
when you don't have that, you don't know.
Yeah. You can't understand it until you go through it.
Right.
Yeah. I also wonder if people are fearful of the unknown.
I definitely think
right?
so.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you think society can better support transgender individuals?
Look at us like people.
Yeah.
Like anybody else.
Yeah. We're all humans together.
We are. I mean, I have the same beliefs as you do, or I don't, or I have the same feelings, thoughts. I'm a person.
We all live in one world.
Right.
Yeah.
But then that brings me to what's been happening like in sports. So born male, transitioning to female and wanting to be in female sports. I have my own things on this, and I don't think my husband and I agree, and I'll just out him right now. But my thought is, just like you're taking hormone replacements to increase your testosterone, these males are taking hormone replacements to decrease their testosterone. Right. So I still feel like we're playing on an even field here.
To be honest with you, the whole sporting thing, I don't care about.
Yeah. I figured.
I mean, I played football for 8 years. I mean, I was on an all women's pro football team. And I'll tell you what, some of those girls hit a hell of a lot harder than anybody else that I got hit by. Yeah. But I mean, so we all have the same strengths. I mean, does a girl want to play on a girl team that's not really a girl? Go for it.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? I mean, I was the only girl that played on a football team in middle school.
Right.
With the boys.
With the boys. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, be who you want to be. And if you want to be a girl or a boy or whatever like me, you should be able to do the same things as that gender.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for saying that, because that's what I think too. And I think a lot of people in society need to hear these things to understand and to have a different perspective. And
I think the argument comes in because people are like breaking records or like winning things as the other sex, and some people are saying
they're cheating.
Sort of like that's what they're saying.
Yes.
But the thing is they train just like anybody else trains.
Yeah. And I feel like the hormone replacements would
balance
make it
that out.
Yes.
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
I mean, I don't know. But
right. I mean, you're always going to have some sort of masculinity or feminism, whatever.
Yes.
We all have both.
Right. Yes. And it's never going to go away. Like me, for instance. You're going to grow a beard, you're going to do this, you're going to do that. Well, yeah, but I'm still keeping my eyebrows. I'm still going to be doing those.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love you.
So, but I mean, we all have the same things.
Yeah.
So it's like, what does it matter?
Yeah. So you're not wearing makeup today?
No.
Do you wear makeup anymore?
No.
Yeah. When did that stop?
Shortly before I decided to come out.
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing I would wear was mascara anyway.
Okay.
Just to accentuate my eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
How's your mental health been during the transition? I feel like we kind of touched on that already, but do you have anything more to add?
No, I just...
Or like strategies that you found like helpful for yourself?
To be honest with you, just being myself.
Yeah.
Like that's the big strategy, is be yourself.
Yeah. And not really caring what anybody's going to think of you.
Which is
so hard.
Yeah. Like we can sit here, all of us, and say that, but it's hard to not feel judged.
I mean, even when you go out in public, I mean, there's sometimes I'd be like, oh my God, are they going to notice? Like, I'm a girl with hair on my face. Like, because my voice hasn't really dropped yet. It's starting to, but it hasn't dropped completely.
Okay.
And, I still have a chest, even though I bind. I mean, I have a big chest.
Is that uncomfortable?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very comfortable at all.
Can I get your boobs when you get those removed? Because I could use some bigger ones.
You can have them. But, I mean... So, because I have bigger boobs, I can't completely hide and have a flat chest.
Sure.
So,
do you I see you're wearing like a bulky sweatshirt.
But I mean, it's kind of nice though too when you bind, because you kind of feel like you have man boobs.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're, I mean, you still have some there, but you're not just like completely flat.
Yeah.
Is that what happens when they get removed? Completely fat, or
they remove, your fat tissue, and then they somehow like masculine. I can't even say that word.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like masculinize or something.
Okay.
Like make them look more masculine.
Masculinize.
Okay.
That, maybe that's the word.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
One of those words you just can't pronounce.
Yeah.
Are you excited to walk around with your shirt off?
Well, I do it now, but I only do it at home. But no, I am actually.
Yeah.
I have a pool and stuff at my house, and it'd be like, oh man, I don't have to wear like all this shit.
Yeah.
Just to get in the pool, like basically getting dressed to go swimming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
is the binding waterproof?
it's there's a million different.
Oh, there are. Okay.
But like the ones that I have, they look like a sports bra.
Oh.
But on the inside of it is like a really tight, like elastic type material.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it like sucks you in, but it's still somewhat flexible.
Yeah.
Okay.
But some of those other ones, like a lot of them will use like tape. It's called binding tape, where they'll tape them back.
Yeah.
And then they'll use ace bandages.
Oh,
and I'm like, I ain't doing that.
No, that sounds extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah. I mean, the ones that I wear are uncomfortable, but you get used to it.
Are you excited to shave?
I already do.
Well, your face?
Yeah.
You do already?
Yeah, I have to.
You do already?
Yeah.
I didn't know this.
I have to. Like, I already have to do it again.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Was that like the best thing ever?
Yeah, I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I can shave my face and get away with it now.
Yes.
Yeah, we use dermaplane our face.
That's definitely different.
Yes.
But yeah, I'm like,
there's definitely quite a bit of hair growing under your chin.
I always say I can grow an Amish beard now.
Yeah.
I don't have the sides yet. I just have
your
the
Mexican mustache and your Amish beard.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
No, but yeah,
we're going to offend somebody by saying those things. I'm sure of it.
Sure we are.
What are your hopes for the future, like personally and within the broader community, transgender people?
To be accepted.
Yeah.
I think it's probably the most,
I
mean, not just for me, but everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the people that I have come out to, like I've come out to a lot of my close friends and my family and everything. And like I said, they've all been extremely supportive. Mm-hmm. I mean, even the ones that I didn't think, my family, I thought that I was going to have a hell of a time with that. And they're like, no, we don't care. Like, we'll support whatever you do, But I think acceptance is probably the biggest thing that I'd like to see. Like, people just knowing that we're human.
Yeah,
like we're
absolutely.
We're no different.
Yeah.
Any advice for a listener that might be considering transitioning?
Just be you.
Yeah.
Basically, that's my motto is, just be you, fuck the rest.
Yes. I love that.
We usually end our episodes with a quote, so you're going to have to...
You'll have to say that one.
Say that again.
But yeah, just be you, and you only get one life.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
You don't get any redos.
Maybe.
Well,
I mean, we believe in multiple
maybe
lives,
you do.
I mean, yeah, maybe
you only get one in this life body.
Right. Yeah. You don't get any second chances at this life.
Yeah.
So just go out, be you, and do what you want, and who cares?
Be happy.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Do what makes you happy.
Anything else you can add? How can your allies best support transgender individuals?
Just be open.
Mm-hmm.
Take the time to listen to see how they feel, and what they want out of life, and how they're feeling during all the process, and because there's a lot of changes that happen. Like me, how do you feel about having facial hair? Well, I love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Some people might not like it, but yeah, just be open and honest, and have people accept who you are, and don't be afraid to just be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully that, hopefully in time people will start accepting it and it becoming a normal.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, right now in this society, the way things are going I'm terrified for trans people right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly think it'll eventually go away. Just like, being gay was a sin. Like, oh my God, you're going to hell.
Right.
Right.
And now it's like, whatever.
Right.
So
love is love.
Yep, exactly.
And I think the rates for suicide for transgendered individuals are pretty high.
Yeah.
And it just continues to grow if you look at the data.
I mean, it happened around here. You know, not that, a couple months ago. Unfortunately. With the whole school thing.
Yeah.
That was because the girl was transgender.
Sad.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow. So looking back from like the start of your journey, and I feel like that maybe is like 5 years old, anything you wish you had known at the beginning?
I wish I would have done it earlier.
Okay.
Instead of, having to wait 40 years to figure it out.
Because like you said, you could have still carried your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
You could have still done that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I wish I would have done it sooner and not been so afraid of, being myself and not feeling like I'm being accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah.
What's the most rewarding part of your transition?
Besides the facial hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured that was what you would say.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it took me 40 years to find it.
Yeah.
So, having 40 years of misery pretty much. And then obviously, you figure it out and you're like, God damn.
This is
like,
what
this
it's
feels
supposed
good.
to be like.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, this feels good.
I love that for
So,
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, you're very
this
welcome.
This has been so insightful.
Yeah. I hope lots of people hear this episode and start to understand and have empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. You have to share your quote one last time.
Well, I have a different one.
Okay. Okay. You use your quote that you want.
I have it tattooed on my arms,
Yeah.
but it's pretty simple. It's one life, one voice. Because in the end, that's all you have.
One life, one voice.
And use your voice to speak up for yourself.
Oops. We're doing something we've never done before. We usually strictly end with that quote, but we forgot to ask in the beginning what Alex thought of the gender unicorn information. This information, like I said, has been shared in schools. I think still is shared in schools. So what are your thoughts on that?
I don't necessarily like it because it basically puts labels on you. Like, I don't need an identity. I don't need expressions or what I'm physically attracted to. I'm attracted to what I'm attracted to.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah.
There's different things in people that are attractive. I don't need to, okay, well, you like girls or you like boys. No, I think there's things in men that are attractive to me and there's things in women. So it's basically labels. That is. And then you have the damn unicorn.
The damn unicorn. Yes.
Like, that's, I mean,
why do we have to use a unicorn?
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you relate a unicorn with gays because that's what's been,
done,
the thing.
right?
But it's like, okay, but why would you need to use a unicorn for that?
Right.
Like, that's labeling.
That is.
And just like the fact that actually unicorns don't exist. So are we just pretending this doesn't exist?
Right.
Right.
Like, that's weird.
Interesting choice in the visual
graphics.
aid.
Yeah.
And the rainbow for gender identity.
Yeah.
You'll see on our socials if you decide to check it out. We'll be posting it. But
even the unicorn is thinking about rainbows.
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I mean, literally.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like the way that they put the labels on the unicorn, like, why do you have to put something down by genitals?
Yep.
I mean, okay, your hearts are in your chest, fine.
Right.
But you don't need
the chromosome is by the genitals.
To identify what you are at birth.
Yeah.
Like, that's just,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not okay with me.
Yeah.
Especially when you go into a school.
I was wondering that too. Like,
this was shared at a professional development training in a school. So I'm not sure that that's being used with kids, but I would imagine it is. Not in any schools I've taught in.
Okay.
But anyway, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening and being a part of our community. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
if you'd like to connect, we can be reached at podcastfromtheretohere@gmail.com.
We hope you continue on this journey with us.